Most of you have probably seen this range of cookware before, perhaps on television. It looks as though it's made of glass, doesn't it? But it's not. It's visionware. Now, Vision offers you a totally new versatility in the kitchen. And if you've got a few minutes, I'll show you just what I mean. You know, putting an empty Vision saucepan onto direct heat isn't just an act. It's part of a demonstration of how visibly superior Vision is and how different. You see, while it's on there, it's actually absorbing heat. And that's something that you can use to avoid some of the problems which happen if you use an ordinary saucepan. For instance, boiling milk. You'll never need to let it boil over. It'll never burn the saucepan if you do this with Vision. What you do is you preheat the saucepan like this one, and then you pour the milk directly in off the flame. You hear that? All the heat that's been retained into the saucepan is going into the milk. Turn off the gas, turn off the electricity, the milk heats itself up in the pan safely like that and can't possibly boil over, can it? Now, I've used that same heat-retaining quality to demonstrate something else, and that's how to make a really good base for a white sauce. See, the milk should always be flavoured, and the best way is to do that gently. So, you heat the milk and something like some onions or carrots, bay leaf, perhaps some peppercorns, just to the boil, turn the heat off, and then that just sits there simmering in its own heat, if you like, extracting all the flavour. Absolutely marvellous way to do it. Then it goes into the roux, the butter and flour mixture. Pour it in there. That's been sitting gently over a heat. And the other great thing about Vision is you can do this. You can put the saucepan, no matter how hot it is, directly into water. No problem at all. Now, get on with this. Give it a good whisk over the heat. No problem with it going to burning or anything like that, because you can use the heat that's retained in the saucepan to get it started off. But what I'm going to do, in fact, is leave that and show you something that rhymes with roux choux pastry for making profiteroles, cream buns, that sort of things. Now, if you use too much heat in this, it can go wrong. Here's what you do. The moment the water and the butter's boiled, you know you add all the flour at once. And then you take it straight off the heat, and you stir it until it makes that lovely gunge that you need. And of course, because it's off the heat, there's no way it can possibly burn. But it is cooking in the heat that's retained in the saucepan. Keep stirring that, and now, look what else you can do with a Vision saucepan. You don't have to tip things out of a Vision saucepan when you want to use metal utensils like this, because nothing's going to scratch that smooth, shiny surface. You just get on with the job. And remember, whatever cooking you do, Vision comes up like new. You can even put it into the dishwasher. Now, I want you to have a look at these leeks here. I've cooked them without any added liquid at all. And look at this. Not a single sign of burn anywhere. It's a very interesting way of cooking leeks, which I use quite a lot. In fact, I use it instead of rice or potatoes as the base for a stew or a casserole or something like that, because there's no added fat or butter or anything like that. Very interesting. Now, I suppose you think I've been showing you all of these things just for the sake of showing you. Not at all. You can put them all together to make something really rather delicious. That sauce, for instance. It's been sitting here very slowly getting to know itself, letting all the flavours improve. What I'm going to do is add a little white wine. Now, when you add white wine to a white sauce, you've got to let it get to know itself even better. Leave it over the heat for 5 minutes or so, 10 minutes or so. Let it reduce down a bit so that all those flavours combine. Now, into that I'm going to put some flaked chicken, cooked flaked chicken. You could use ham, you could use tongue, and if you're a vegetarian, of course, you could use all kinds of sliced, shredded vegetables. Now, you remember the choux pastry that I made? Look at what I've done with it. I've made it into nice, long, generous shapes like this. Cut each one in half, of course, and taken out the excess pastry, and I'm going to make something not filled with cream, but something savoury, using, for a start, those leeks you saw. So first, a layer of crisp green leeks along the bottom, and that's to stop the pastry sogging up when a sauce goes on top. And the sauce, of course, is the chicken in white wine. So now, a layer of that on top of the leeks. Gosh, that looks good. It's the sort of thing you could use as a starter for a smart dinner party, or perhaps have just for lunch. Put the top back, of course, and there you are, something which, like Vision, is visibly superior. Well, There it is, the complete range of Vision. Everything from frying pans with and without covers, a stew pot, and 2 casseroles. And remember, you can use those 2 ways, both on the top of the stove and in the oven. And as well as that, 4 marvellous saucepans. That's how easy it is to get in on today's #1 cooking act with Vision. It's visibly superior.